Well, it's time in these hot July days that I do have to weed my Hypertufa troughs and bowls. You can't escape it. No matter what you do, the weeds will always find a spot to dig into. If you're good, you can pull it strong enough to get the root. If not, it's just going to grow back and you just got to go at it again. But unfortunately, that's what I have to do. And these weeds can get really, really big. Sometimes if you let them get a little big, they're a little bit easier to handle, but they start looking so unsightly that you want to get them while they're little. And in this case, you can see I have a lot of leftover weeds or leaves, things like that, that accumulated over the winter and even over spring flowers and spring weeds dying down. It does do very, very well to clean that kind of stuff up. But it looks so much better when you get it fully weeded. Just try to get the roots and everything. Now, in my case, in this large trough, I have a lot of spillover. You can see why everything starts to dangle and grow over the sides. And I think grooming them up and taking scissors and what I call giving them a haircut makes them look so much better. I mean, the best part of those haircut materials is that you can take that and scatter those into other flower beds where you want this to grow. Most of that growing over is the Angelina, Sedum Angelina, which will grow anywhere, roots so easily, and it's a really pretty mat forming, weed suppressing plant. If I didn't have that in this particular pot, I bet the weeds would be much, much worse. Now those little blue-green swatches that you see here and there, that's a Sedum blue spruce. And it almost does the same thing, but it stays kind of a blue spruce look all year. But I think that looks good. I really like to have these all groomed up as early as I can so they have a chance to branch and grow from other areas in that trough to just make it thicker and better throughout the year. But a trim up now and then just helps keep it look nice and tidy. Now I collect all those things that I pick off and keep them in a bin so that I can easily take them to another area to strew in the flower beds. There's a whole pile of them right there. And I'll get a bin and put them in the bin, and we can really, really have some more growth someplace else that we want it. Now overall, I think that looks pretty clean and pretty nice. I love the way the hens and chicks are looking. Now I'll take that little bundle of sprouts that I've taken off, and all along those edges you can see roots trying to grow. So anywhere you put those, you can lay them out, sprinkle them out, even like sprinkle some soil over them to get them to grow, and they'll do a good job of just rooting in another flower bed. If you want to take the time to plant up another bowl, just pinch off the ends and put a pencil in a pot and just stick them in, and they'll grow nicely. But that's what I do with all my cut off pieces. The weeds, of course, I just discard. So I'll just put this right back up on the planting table until I decide to take care of that. See all those roots growing there? Okay, now more flower pots. A lot of them don't grow a lot of weeds. I don't know if they're just in a good position. They don't get the brunt of the air blowing weed puffs and weed sprouts. Occasionally I have maple seeds that I have to pick out. But for the most part, everything stays pretty good. And then you'll find hidden little spots of weeds here and there that you don't notice at first glance. This one's doing pretty good. I planted that earlier in the spring. I think there was a video on that. And it's growing real well. This one is too. Not a lot, just a little moss in this one. This one's doing real well. And it does need deadheaded because the sedum sexangulaire has bloomed. The yellow blooms there, they've already turned brown. Now the album is starting to have white flowers. So we have successions of growth here. Isn't that pretty? Getting all red and stressed in the sun. But I'll come in with some snippers and snip these dead ends off. But here, hidden in the corner, of course we see one of our favorite weeds. That's that spurge, prostrate spurge. And it grows. This thing could be quarter size one night, and the next day you look at it and it's 6 inches across, and I swear the next day it's 2 foot across. So the quicker you get to that, and if you can get the full root, the better off you are. The bigger ones are easier to take over and pull out, but get the tiny ones if you can, just as a prevention. Now, I usually gather mine all up together and then sweep them out and put them in the trash, because I'm not going to put this in a compost pile or anything to save, because they can grow at the city landfill if they want, but not anywhere around my property. I've got enough. I think that looks real good. Get those tiny ones. You'll be glad you did. I think that looks real good now. Nice trough that I've had for a long time. Now this one, I've got to get a few weeds out of it, as you see. It has already had a haircut a little bit earlier, but I'm not close enough to get a good reach. So let me go around the outside. Yeah, I've got more to do here in these rocks here later. But right here, I can get to it more easily and reach the spurge. Of course, we've got spurge. And I don't know what that other little weed is. It might be a prickly lettuce. It might be a burnweed. I'm not sure, but we'll just get it. And if I pull a piece of the Angelina, all you do is just toss that back into the soil. It'll reroot itself and keep growing. No problem. Of course, more spurge. And it looks like a little bit there to the right is some of the, it looks like clover, or it's called wood sorrel, oxalis, whatever name that goes by. Got to get that out because that will just multiply, and it's so hard to get rid of once it gets going. Now it looks like I've got a problem with this sedum. I think this one was called black embers. I don't know if something has been up there and chewed it, bit the top off, a bird, a squirrel. I think the squirrel would have probably dug it up, but I just went ahead and pressed it back into the soil, and I hope it will continue to grow. But that cleans these up, makes them look a lot better. I've got a lot of pots over in here. Now there's my, let's see, firecracker, sedum firecracker. That's one of the Sun Sparkler series. I took the hosta, mini hosta, out of that earlier and planted it in another pot, and it's doing well. Few little weeds. I don't know what kind of weed that is. Perhaps it's a seed from a tree blown in the wind. We had a lot of cottonwood puffs blowing in the air. That may be cottonwood, but I don't know how to recognize a cottonwood sprout. But of course, you can see the tiny little blooms on that. Whatever you do, get it out before it blooms and seeds, because you will have 10,000 in there shortly to pull out if you don't get it out before it seeds. I can't get this lump of soil off it, so guess what? I'll just discard the lump of soil too. I'll get all these little pieces out. The morning sun is starting to shine over the trees. It's a little hard to get everything to sparkle. This is the jade tuffet that I planted earlier. It looks like it's got buds on it, so it's doing real well. But anyway, that's just a little bit of the weeding of my Hypertufa pots, which you have to do to keep them neat and tidy and the way you want them to look. So I hope you've liked this. I will sweep up all my little weeds out of the floor, and again, they go into the garbage. But thanks for joining me for the film this morning, and I will see you on the next video.